Hey folks, Lever here once again. Hope y'all enjoyed my Christmas video where I did a holiday special, Donkey's Christmas Spectacular, part of the Shrek franchise. Hope y'all enjoyed that. That's on my channel right now. And anyway, y'all, I hope y'all like my new shirt. It's Buddy the Elf. What's your favorite color? Anyway guys, welcome back to another video. And continuing with my Superman marathon, continue talking about Smallville. Last time that was season 6, so this time I'm giving my thoughts. Sorry if you can barely see my head, but I'm still working with this new desk I got. So, but anyway, giving my thoughts / favorite episodes of Smallville. Smallville season 7, yes. Which this season brings in Kara, aka who will become Supergirl, Superman's cousin in the comics. Oh, I love this actress. She's very beautiful. Give my quick thoughts on the season. I do enjoy season 7. I don't think it's as good as season 1 or season 2 or season 6. I put it up there with season 3 or 4 as well. While I like this season, I do think, for me, this would probably be my least favorite season of Smallville, to be honest. I mean, I like it, but I do have some certain issues with it, you know. But overall, I do enjoy the season. There's one I do enjoy about this season. It might be my least favorite season, to be honest, but I still enjoy it. You know, I can still have fun with it. I still enjoy Smallville for what it is. A lot of good episodes on it, so I can't complain. I couldn't, there's an episode called Siren on here. Yes, I do have the list of favorite episodes of Smallville season 7. It's just my issue with this season, though. It's too short. It's only got 20 episodes, but I wasn't able to watch Siren because since I've had this, the DVDs sometimes scratch out, so, yeah. One episode I was kind of able to watch, but I couldn't watch the end of it, so, but I was able to watch some of it on YouTube, so, but anyway. Oh yeah, let me show you the cover here. Yeah, that's Bizarro, who we have this season. Yeah. Some cool artwork there, and, Lex and Clark, where Lex finally, they confront each other in the Fortress of Solitude. Very good ending in my opinion. And let me show you the booklet here, booklet, which I think is very cool, of Bizarro and Lex after he murdered Lionel. Looking at his dead body at the front of Luthorport. So anyway, I've got work tomorrow, so I'm going to try to go ahead and get to this as much as I can. Shit. Sorry folks, I'll be right back. I need to get a pen. I gotta mark these episodes down so I don't get confused. I'll be right back. I promise. Alright guys, I'm back. Sorry. Just forgot to get a pen. But anyway, well, this season was cut short because from what I read about, it was a writer's strike. It was called, a strike began in 2007, November 5th, 2007, the Writers Guild of America. I don't know all about that, but I guess because of this writer's strike, Smallville and other shows got affected by it. So I guess it was not really good then. So, but you do have, you know, early cast members coming back, like Tom Welling, Michael Rosenbaum, Kristen Kirk, Allison Mack, Erica Durrance, Aaron Ashmore, and Laura Vandervoort, who is, of course, Supergirl, Kara in this show, and John Glover coming back as Long Luther. They don't say it, but I do believe that Antonia Toole, she's not in this season, so I'm presuming she left the show, but she does, you know, make guest appearances in some of the episodes, but you don't really see her much anymore after season 6, no, because remember, if you remember Mark Kent, being a senator, went to Washington D.C. for filling for Senator Burke, who got murdered in season 6. So technically, I guess that was to give her a reason to go for her care to leave. In addition to bringing some new cast members this season, Smallville team brought familiar faces from the Superman history, like villains like Zor-El, you know, characters like Zor-El, her father, and you have Bizarro this season, and Brainiac comes back this season. So, but, you know, this season pretty much focuses what Smallville season 7 is about. Is that this season focuses on Clark Kent meeting his biological cousin from Krypton, Kara Zor-El, and teaching her how to control her abilities in public. Lana Lang's behavior towards her friends, her and Clark decide to have a real relationship, and here she knows Clark's secret. her friend is Lex Luthor, and after it's discovered that she faked her own death, Chloe comes to terms with her newly discovered kryptonite induced ability. In the circular Daily Planet's new editor, Grant Gabriel. Towards the end of the season, Clark faces off the dual threat from returning villain Brainiac and Lex's discovery of his father's secret society called Veritas, who possesses the means to control Clark. The season concludes with a showdown between Lex and Clark at the Fortress of Solitude, where the fortress is brought down, is basically torn down, ripped down, setting the series up for the following season. So I'll go ahead and give you my favorite episodes of Smallville Season 7. Okay, what are 6? Alright, I got it all right here on the list. So I'll start with my favorite Smallville episode of Smallville Season 7. Start on my favorite episode of Smallville Season 7, and that is Bizarro. So we'll start with that, Bizarro. And very much it takes place after where Season 6 began, where Clark was facing the Phantom, known as Bizarro, who was, of course, a version of himself. If y'all remember, where he knocked Clark out. The dam is pretty much blown up. Chloe and Lois are trapped, and Lionel doesn't die, but he's in the river. He's just passed out, and this lady grabs him. Yes, there's actually a woman, kind of like Misery, but anyway, this lady grabs him. Clark takes on Bizarro, who's the Phantom, saying to him, "Clark, I'm going to take over your life. I'm going to kill you eventually." And Clark, not wanting to fight him, people are going to get hurt. The dam is broken, and Clark saves his little boy and his father, who are fishing. And Clark uses the water is coming down, going to kill them, but Clark, using his superpower, speeds there, uses heat vision, is able to freeze the water down. And the kid's like, "Whoa, cool," and then Clark just smiles and runs. And the Phantom, well, I forgot to mention, though, Lionel was there to stop Clark from killing Lex, thinking that the Phantom is Clark, because they look alike, tries to use green kryptonite to stop Clark, but the Phantom instead grabs the kryptonite, puts it in his chest. After fighting with Clark, he is injured. He kind of just, ends up getting impaled, but of course, Bizarro ends up surviving this. And because he's "You're a right man," and Bizarro uses heat vision and just murders this guy, just outright murders him, and goes to Clark Kent's house, goes to the barn, gets more green kryptonite, and strucks it up, and then he needs more of it. Pretty much, Lex gets saved from the flood by an unknown girl who was Cora. Basically, when he was going to get arrested for Lana's murder, Cora got hit by the water, and Lex is trying to get out. He nearly dies, but she saves him. And Lex has a change of heart because of this. He decides to be a different, maybe a better person. Take redemption, saying that, yeah, I killed Lana. He's like, I was saved by an angel. Why she saved me after all the evil that I've done? So when he's about to, give himself up, Chloe is pretty much pronounced dead at the hospital because if you remember, she saved Lois's life. But she's in the morgue. I'm sorry, I'm saying "but" twice. But she comes back to life. Yes, she's in the morgue, and she's come back to life. Chloe's yelling for help. Clark thinks that she's dead. He uses his super hearing, he's able to hear her, and he helps us like, "Chloe, you were dead." And Chloe's like, "What? How can I be dead?" And I'm like, you find out her immediate power is basically to heal, but if she does too much healing, she pretty much dies for a while, and will come back to life. That's her meteor power, is to heal people, and if she does too much of it, it'll kill her, and she'll come back to life. Which I thought was interesting. And Lex talks with his lawyers about what's going on. He says, I'll admit it, I should be in jail for murder. He's got the jumpsuit on. But the doppelganger comes up to Clark, pretty much wants to get his help from Lex, so he murders his lawyer, and he says, and Bizarro, the Phantom says to Lex, redemption never suited you. If you help me out, I'll be the real Clark Kent that you've always wanted. Come on. I know you wanted this version of Clark Kent to help you out. And Lex does help him, takes him to the kryptonite, the green meteor rocks, and he powers himself up. Chloe and Clark discover how to defeat the Phantom. I'm sorry I go over my review, but Lex got turned on the Phantom. He's like, Lex, you got a choice right now, and he knows, of course, what Lex is thinking. He even tells Clark, I forgot to mention, Clark, I know every dark thought, every sadness thought you ever had. I just know everything about you. So his intent, the Phantom's intent is to take over Clark's life. But he's like, bad choice, Lex, and takes Lex out, and then Clark shows up. And he gets weakened by the sun, but his face will, you see that bizarre face when he's in the sun there. Clark can't really beat him because he's a bit stronger he's stronger than Clark. John Jones also decides to help Clark out, who was a Martian Manhunter. Pretty much Clark says, I can help you, Kal-El, but, and Clark, he gets into it, him and the Phantom fight at the dam again, and Clark is able to, Clark gets, he punches Clark has this smile on his face, and he punches the Phantom out, and then with John Jones takes him up to a prison, basically, I think, kind of like Tomorrow's, or puts him in a prison or whatever, and gets rid of the Phantom, just not for good, though, because he does come back. And pretty much, Clark and, him talk, and John Jones talk, conversation about the humans, that you're an alien, whether you accept it or not, you're not one of them. But John, the Martian Man, tells Clark, it's the people who make you real small. Clark's like, well, I'm always going to help people. I'm always going to do the right thing because that's who I am, And then you find out, like I said, spoiler alert, Wanda is not dead. Wanda is revealed to be alive and she's got this blonde wig on. She's basically hiding from Lex because she's not safe because Lex is trying to kill her, so she's trying to remain in hiding. But it was all a really good episode in my opinion. Alright, and then another favorite episode of mine is Cora, where at the beginning where you have Clark and Lois talking, and Lois is like, Clark, what would you do without me? And pretty much they see Cora's ship. Lois tries to get a picture for the Inquisitor, see if she can do like a report on it or whatever. Sorry, like a report on it, until Cora knocks her out. And Cora tells him to fly. And Cora, unlike Clark, she can fly. And she's basically, you find out that she's looking for little boys, and she's up, you see her flying in space. She's basically trying to find the baby Kal-El. She's trying to find, she's looking at these kids, she's scanning these kids off the playground. She took this one little boy, she just picks him up like this, and says, what's your name? He's like, I think the kid says Tony. He's like, I'm just looking for a baby named Kal-El. You're like, are you Kal-El? And then Clark shows up, put him down. And you think they're going to fight, but Clark's able to knock him down. He's like, you're Kal-El? It's impossible. And they go back to the to the camp farm, and Clark tells her, you've been trapped for like 18 years, whatever. She's just been asleep for a while until the dam broke. And she's like, well, what happened to Krypton? And Clark's like, I hate to tell you this, Clara, but Krypton blew up. No, Kal-El, it's impossible. It was like, Clark, name's Clark. And, you feel sorry for her. She's like, well, we got to find my ship, Clark. We got to find my ship, because somebody tries to open it, it's self-destructive. If it goes off, kaboom. And then you have this Agent Carter within Mrs. Security who has got her ship, and of course crystal in it. This blue crystal that helps control her ship. And meanwhile, Lex wants to find Cora and pretty much thank her, or just to find her, just to find out who it was who saved him. And this season also determines the future of Lois Lane when you meet Grant Gabriel, who, I think in this episode, he is the new owner of the Daily Planet, the new CEO of the Daily Planet, and tells Lois, he's like, Lane, if you write me this story about this machine, this spaceship, you'll be having a job. He's like, are you serious? She's like, yep, I'm serious. It's a heart attack. I'll help you. Definitely to her. And Lois gets it. She does, try to touch the ship. She photographs it to record it, but there's no proof of it. But Grant Gabriel hires her anyway. Yet starting the future, as you know, the Lois Lane of the Daily Planet becoming the reporter, as you know the character, if you're a Superman fan, you know the character of Lois Lane, of who she will become. Oh, it's a group turning crystal. Basically, it's hidden inside the ship. Lex also finds Lana, and pretty much some spoilers. Well, I'll tell you what. Found out that Lex, of course, had her cloned, and Lana, who knew about 133.1 cloning area, steals this clone and fakes her own death with it. That's how she was able to fake her own death because the clone, of course, had her DNA. That's when it blew up. The car blew up. The clone, of course, had her DNA. So, and Clark is like, Lex is like, look, I'm sorry for what I did to you, Lana. If you want to kill me, go ahead. He's like, let me give you the charge. She's like, we're going to point out Lex, and Lex is like, the world would be a better place without Lex Luthor in it. It's like, come on, Lana, kill me. And Lana doesn't do it, and he's like, you can go back to Smallville, I'll help you out, I'll leave you alone, I'll stay away from you. You can go be with Clark, go do what you ever want. And she's happy that Lex lets her go. And we're at the end, they're able to find the ship, Clark and Kara, and Kara's able to go over the ship, and it kind of blows up on her, but they save lives, in the process. But overall, Kara was a good episode. And I do like the scene, though, when they go to the Daily Planet to find all this out. That Kara just, instead of being patient with the elevator, just smashes in, with the elevator and breaks it. And it's like, we don't have time for settle, Kal-El. It's Clark. Clark, we don't have time for settle. Okay? And he lets Kara stand on the farm. But Kara, good episode, my opinion. And I also forgot to mention, we also have some guest stars in this season. We have, the next episode I'm going to talk about is Cure. We have Dean Cain, guest star in this episode. You have Helen Slater. Now, Dean Cain, he was Superman, Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, which came out in the... He was Superman, Clark Kent, and Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. That show came out in the 90s. And Helen Slater was, of course, Supergirl in the Supergirl 1984 movie, which I don't mind that movie. I like it for what it is. Not perfect. But anyway, Cure. This episode where you have this girl who the ability to control bees, Chloe, who wants to get rid of her meteor power, talks to this girl, and she talks to him about Dr. Curtis Knox, who actually, you find out he's a cure for those affected by the kryptonite, the meteor rocks. So people set appointments for him, but pretty much Curtis Knox is a serial killer who is trying to bring back his love, the woman he loves, by picking parts of these women, these people that he's killing. And you find out, Lex finds this out from him, and Lex tries to shoot him, tries to shoot Dean Cain, but he puts 6 bullets in him, and the guy just gets up and walks up, and you find out that he's been living for centuries. His character has been living for centuries and stuff. Sorry. But you also have Lana showing up to the farm and him talking about his abilities, and they're going to try to make the relationship work. Clark is able to, Lana's like cooking breakfast, and Clark, uses his super speed to go get them syrup. And, they're just sitting there happy until Martian Manhunter shows up, and him and Carl about to get into a fight. And John Jones is like, you can't trust her, Kal-El, And since Lana, he will share everything with one, he tells her that John Jones is from Mars. And Carl's able to overhear that Clark doesn't trust her. Clark and Lana don't trust her at all. So, she just has to go on a mission to find the crystal herself. Chloe, who goes to Dr. Curtis now, sets up an appointment. Kidnaps Chloe, and she's like, you live for centuries. I'm like, well, you don't know how, watching people around you die, it's just painful. I don't want to go through it again. It's like, what do you like, Jack the Ripper? Somebody's like, I was Jack the Ripper. When he smiles at Chloe. Before he can kill Chloe, though, Clark shows up to save her, but the green kryptonite's around the room, so it weakens Clark, so him and Clark fight. He almost kills Clark, but instead he ends up destroying the kryptonite and this machine, which is keeping his wife, the woman he loves, alive, and it, of course, kills her, and he's upset over it. They basically just put him in jail, I think, afterwards, something like that. Can't kill him, though, because he's immortal, so... wants to use this system, this ISIS Foundation she creates, to basically help fight against against Lex, foreign people, but she's determined to actually spy on him, because she basically wants revenge. Like, you find out this season that she's not the girl that Clark fell in love with. She's basically vengeful, and is not a Luthor, but still has kind of like the Luthor actions inside of her, that instinct in her. But overall, Killer was a good episode. It was cool to see Dean Cain guest star and stuff, and he did a really good job playing a serial killer. Alright, and another favorite episode of mine is called Laura. This is where Clara, who just, got mad at Clark, thinking he doesn't trust him, she just goes to DC to look for the crystal from her ship. Cora she basically, that's a beautiful dress, she looks beautiful, I'm not going to lie. And she seduces this guy that works with Agent Carter. That's the guy's name, for security. She talks to him about he was able to flirt with this guy, and she's able to find out, takes his security badge and goes to find a crystal, but it's not there. Clark shows up to tell her to stop doing this and come home, and he's like, just back off, and she pushes Clark real hard, and she flies away. Clark can now fly, so Clara's able to go, she gets up from Jimmy, and Jimmy's wanting to help her out, because she basically has a crush on Jimmy. And Jimmy, you say he's like, for him and Clara, of course, still dating, even though in this season their relationship goes off balance a little bit. Kind of just off and on again in the season. Yeah. Clara goes to Alexis Mansion, but Agent Carter, of course, is there, uses these chains, well, not chains, but handcuffs, are kryptonite handcuffs, chains her up, Lester's help her up, but he knocks out Lex. And he's trying to find out what planet she's from. And it basically shoots to him. She's like, I'm from Earth. She lies to the guy. And you see Memories You Have Found Slater guest starring. And it was, like I said, was Supergirl in the Supergirl 1984 movie. You see her and in the past, before, it was 1986, before Clark and Smallville, before Krypton blew up in 1989, for the meteor show at Smallville, where they're talking about, Jor-El and Laura know about it, and Laura, who is Clark's biological mother, real mother, are visiting, talking about what they're going to do for Kal-El. Stupid phone. It's like, I'm going to raise my boy here, I want them raised by the kids. Jor-El just wanted it because she missed a Jor-El visit, which was in season 3, by the way. But, yeah. But Clark eventually comes to the rescue. He always uses kryptonite on Clark as well, sorry. Yeah. But, Lionel shows up to help him. Lionel shoots the guy down. I think he shoots Agent Carter, I believe. And Clark is able to save Cora. She's like, And you find out that Clark, of course, he shows Lana that he has Lana's, he shows Lana that he has Clark's crystal in the barn the whole time. He's hitting the blue crystal there, the kryptonite crystal, which contains Laura's DNA. So he brings his mother's back. That's why he hit it from her. But overall, Laura was a real good episode, in my opinion. Very interesting episode, in my opinion. Alright, another favorite of mine is called Wrath. This episode where Clark and Lana are first, going horseback riding. Clark gets weakened by kryptonite. Pretty much, Lana's going to grab the kryptonite and throw it to get away so it doesn't hurt Clark anymore. But this lightning strike happens, and it hits Lana and then Clark, and then Clark still has his powers, but it transfers some of his powers to her, so Lana now has Clark's powers. Yeah. 2 years they pretty much share an intimate moment. Like she's like having fun using super speed. Her and Clark make earthquakes. They pretty much do this and make earthquakes around Smallville. And it's funny when they're eating breakfast and she's like X-raying Clark. You X-raying me? He's like, there's so much you can do with this. Wow, I never knew how much complicated your life was, Clark. And Chloe shows up. These earthquakes are like, oh, it was you guys? I'm like, and then Chloe's like, oh, Lana, how can you and Clark, do that? And Chloe's like, you guys actually talk about this? And it's like an uncomfortable situation, but it was actually pretty funny. And Lana, who becomes a little obsessed with destroying Lex to get the secrets from him. She tries to go to Grant Gabriel, who, Lois is now working on a daily planet. Her and Grant, of course, have been flirting with each other. You can tell they have some chemistry between them, that they like each other. But, they want to keep it to work. A working relationship. But she wants Grant Gabriel to write the story about Lex, but there's no proof. And so, she kicks Lois. Her and Grant have this flirtation moment in an elevator. Lana shows up and, wants to find more 33.1. Basically, if you remember Eric Summers, who, of course, was a normal kid, but when he got Clark's powers, it was an episode called Leech in season 1, where Eric, of course, got Clark's powers, and he went mad, too. That's what Lana is basically doing. Lex has some Brainiac ship. Lana, like I said, kidnaps Lex, beats him up a little bit. Lex tries to, talk about how much he loved her, kisses Lana, almost ready to kill Lex, tells Clark, why did you kill him? He's like, it's not my choice to make. Why didn't you kill Lex? Why didn't you take care of him before? He's like, Clark is like, that's not my choice to make. I can't just murder somebody. And she's weakened by some kryptonite. And electricity comes out. Clark is able to grab the electricity, get it onto himself and Lana, and basically gets his powers back. And pretty much Professor Fine, whose remains were there, are released, basically releasing Brainiac, and become back. But overall, Wrath was a good episode in my opinion. And I think Clark finds out about the ISIS Foundation and what Lana's up to. And I think also Lionel tells her that the woman that was, which I'll talk about later, that Clark, that he was captured by, was actually done all by Lana. So Lana telling him, Clark, she might not be the girl that you fell in love with this many years ago. Well, that was a good episode in my opinion. And then another favorite episode of mine is called Blue. Yes. Where Clark, who of course has crystal, uses it to bring the DNA, even though his real cousin was like, your mother has gone, Yellow. You must learn to live with her. I'm sorry, she's gone. But Clark uses the DNA because he thinks his mom is asking for help. He says, this human part of him, he would not want their mother back, or a family parent back, or any family member back from the dead if he could do it, But Clark gains his mother back, gives his mother a hug, but releases Zor-El, who, of course, both of them hated each other. But Zor-El, who was Jor-El's brother, does make Clark and Cora cousins. Zor-El, of course, is evil, though. Since at least is evil, he wanted to be with Laura, didn't want her to be in a relationship. He does, like, I forgot to mention, though, in the episode of Laura, you find out that he attacks, he was trying to get his hands on Laura, and he makes Cora forget that day, but Cora realizes that, everything about her father, how bad he is true, even though he's still a father, but basically what he does is make the Earth into a red sun, basically to kill the humans, make it a utopia for them to rebuild Krypton, and Clark, of course, has to stop them, but Laura gives Clark this blue kryptonite. This blue kryptonite, what it does is, Superman doesn't, green kryptonite would just weaken and kill him. Silver kryptonite would just make him suspicious, thinking someone's betraying him. The Blue Kryptonite would just take away his ambitions and basically make Clark just kind of be a bad guy, basically. The Blue Kryptonite just takes away his powers. It just makes him normal. That's what the Blue Kryptonite does. Because Zor-El's able to almost knock him out. So Clark, has to get this Blue Kryptonite off of him. Eventually he's able to take on Zor-El. They're able to stop him by using green Kryptonite. And basically Clark destroys the crystal and destroys Zor-El. But overall, Blue was a really good episode. Hannah Slater did a good job guest starring. It's just that in this episode, Clark had learned to let his mother go. Sometimes people you love die, pass away, and you just have to learn to live with that and let it go. That's what I get the message of the episode was about. But overall, it was a good episode in my opinion. Her DNA was in this crystal, I forgot to mention, because Zor-El put the DNA in there using his, because he was a scientist like Zor-El, so he was able to use all his DNA to put into this crystal, basically making clone versions of them. And then the other episode of mine is called Gemini. Oh, yeah. Kind of like, almost like Christmas episode 2, eventually Lois and Grant Gabriel, they eventually fall in love. You see him making out a couple of times. Lois was at her desk. Meets this guy named Adrian Cross. I forgot to mention, though, Grant Gabriel is actually a clone. Yes, he's pretty much Julian Luthor, Lex Luthor's little brother, who died when he was just an infant. Basically was choked out by his mother, and then Lex said that it was him that did it. That's what made Lionel so hateful toward him, I think, at least. But anyway, Adrian Cross wants Lex to admit about 33.1, so he's got a bomb on Chloe, and he's like, don't you want her, or I'll blow her right up. And what Lana sees is, she tries to attack this UPS guy, is like, wait, what's wrong with you? He's like, I'm sorry, and of course, Adrian kills the guy. When she finally meets the guy, though, Lois has this earpiece on, and is asking Lex all these questions, but Lex won't answer them, points a gun at Lex, and figuring out he's got an earpiece on, Lex is able to knock Lois out, and Chloe tells Jimmy eventually that she's a meteor freak, and he just have them in the elevator, even though the power's out of the elevator. People see them kissing, which I thought that was funny. And this is where Grant himself is, of course, the successful clone. Where Adrian Cross, him and Grant have the same memories. I forgot to mention, though, in the episode Blue, after what Clark did, Jor-El, who says, Killer, you almost destroyed the planet, you won't disobey me again. To punish Clark, he pretty much freezes him, puts him on ice, literally, in the Force of Solitude. But you also find out when Clark, who eventually is able to get the bomb out of there, is actually Bizarro posing as him the whole time. You see his face, go up at the end when he says Luna. And Clark and Lana, they team up to take down Lex, which is, of course, Bizarro. Forgot to mention that. They're investigating Lex a little bit, trying to find out what he's doing at 33.1. But overall, Gemini was a good episode, in my opinion. I did watch Persona, but... yeah, sorry. Persona, but it did mess up a little bit. But this is what I forget to mention in the episode where Gemini, where Lex eventually becomes the CEO. Of course, to basically stop the corporate investigations and to fire some employees. Basically just to gain more power, as Lex prefers his life to be that way, to be in control, to have the money and power all he wants. In the episode Persona, pretty much you have Lana and Bizarro, who has, of course, done this. Bizarro's face is about to show, he has to hide it from Lana. Clark is still frozen at the Force of Solitude. But eventually, Clark is released, is able to find out from this bizarre, professor. Basically, he wants to find out what his yellow sun weakness is. He wants to fully become Clark Kent. Brainiac is like living with these, is basically around these homeless shelters, and he's able to tell that, he's like, you're not Kal-El. He's like, well, how do I want to live Kal-El's life, He's got like a deeper kind of voice, but I am witnesses in the sun. He's like, he tells him to go to the guy named Daxter, who's actually played, I forgot to mention, another guest mechanic, Mark McGuire. Now, if you don't know who that is, guys, he was Jimmy Olsen in the Christopher Reeve Superman films, and of course the Supergirl movie, 1984 film, starring Alan Slater. So that was cool. Clark is eventually able to go to him for help. He's a scientist that came out many years ago. Clark, who eventually, found out what Bizarro was up to, eventually gets to Daxter first after Jor releases him, gets blue kryptonite from Daxter, and Clark, when he eventually finds, but you find out that, Brainiac is using them. Before I get to that, though, he's using Bizarro and Clark to find I guess Daxter created him, but anyway, because Brainiac is a machine. Anyway, Clark, who's able to get blue kryptonite from Daxter, sorry I can't say, I butchered that completely. Him and Philip goes over to fight, but Lana says that she's been real happy with the time, that she really loves Bizarro. I was like, come on, Chloe, come on, Lana has a blue kryptonite, and Clark's able to, like, well, I can't protect you around blue kryptonite, I'm just normal, I don't have my powers. And Lana's about to fall for it, but she slaps the hand on the blue kryptonite, which destroys Bizarro, which I'll admit I do feel sorry for him. Yes, I'm not gonna lie, even though Bizarro was murdered, at the end I did feel sorry for him, because when his face, he's like, going like this, and he's like, oh, blowing up, he's like looking at Lana, he's like, I loved you, Lana, and he evaporates and dies. But I kind of watched the rest of this episode. Both Clark and Lana, which I did see some on YouTube, this kind of causes a rift in their relationship, and they sleep in different beds, pretty much just upset at each other, because realizing that they question this relationship, are they really in love with each other, is it really meant to be? But you also find out that Grant Gabriel, who talks so much for the few episodes to get out of a relationship with Lois, which he does eventually get out of a relationship with Lois, breaks up with Lois. He gets fired, but he just has to go to Lana, Lana finds out what Lex did. But Lionel has become, I would say, a better man. He still does some dirty stuff, but nonetheless, he's not very ruthless anymore. He tells Lex, that's disgusting what you did, Lex. That's just messed up. That's just wrong. And Lex is like, I was just being a Luther, right, Dad? Just go for that power. Right, Dad? And he's like, well, you lost you. And he's like, no, Lex, I've lost you. And Grant refuses. He goes to his true identity. He tells Lex, I'm going to go anyway. And Lex, like, you're now my enemy. Now I got to take care of you. So, when Lex begging him not to, eventually Grant does. And I guess you can say what I think is kind of like Cain and Abel in a way. I think Lex was jealous of Grant, of Julian, being his father's favorite, because that's what he wanted from Lionel. Love, kind, and respect, and he never got that. So he basically has him murdered. He has Grant. Well, Grant and Lionel are talking after dinner, just talking and being happy about being father and son, until this robber shows up and basically shoots Grant, and it just murders him. And Lex, after getting the call from the guy that is done, just goes outside the ring, just just yells, because he just murdered his own flesh and blood, pretty much. It was a clone, but still his own flesh and blood. And by the way, I could not watch that next episode of Siren, so, sorry guys, I couldn't watch it. I know that episode plays Black Canarium, but I couldn't watch. I know I brought Green Arrow back, which I was disappointed, but I tried to watch the episode, guys, and I'm sorry, it just didn't work, and there was no other way for me to watch Smallville, so I'm sorry. I was not able to watch Siren. Maybe one day, if I have Hulu again, it's on Smallville, is on there. If I have the episode, maybe I'll watch it and give it a review. Maybe. But anyway, continuing, what was 511? Okay. Another favorite, Persona. Okay. And I forgot to mention in the episode Blue, I don't know, sometimes I forget to mention stuff. Cora, after the fight with her father and getting, destroying the crystal, and Laura being their close biological mother, the third episode is called Fracture, where Cora forgets who she is. She ends up in this place for a couple of months. You have the episode opening. Lois pretty much discovers that Lex has found Cora. I'll get more into that detail, but they're pretty much just in the beginning. It's raining, and Lex has his gun, and this guy is who's obsessed, I guess, with Cora, keeps her in a cage. She doesn't have her powers. Excuse me. And pretty much he captures Lois and puts her in there too. Lex is like, give up. And pretty much they shoot at each other. Lex hits him, I think, right here, but he shoots Lex in the head, and Lex just drops dead. It's a busboy at a diner. Pretty much Daughter's able to fix Lex up. They do this operation at LuthorCorp, where to get information where Cora's at, they don't know where Lois and Lex is, they gotta look at Lex's memories. So, Clark, pretty much, using this operation, is able to go into Lex's mind, which is what I love about the episode, where Clark is in his mind, he's going through these past moments where he sees Alexander. Alexander is, of course, Lex as a little boy, who is the good side of Lex, the good person that Lex could be, if he chose to be. But anyway, Alexander's like, Clark, you're my friend, you help me, and you see him Clark's macho, just cute little boy. He's like, I'm going to help you, and you pretty much have him. I forgot to mention that you have the evil Lex Luthor, of course, who has the white suit on with a black glove and attacks Clark. Couldn't really kill him, but the little boy saves him. Clark goes through this memory of seeing how Lionel was abusive to him, that Lex was painting this sculpture, this little little toy that he was doing a painting on, and Lionel was like, Lex, did you touch my briefcase? And he's like, Lex, tell me the truth. He grabs Lex, about to twist his arm. He's like, did you do it? So he's about to abuse him. He's like, it was Mom, she did it. She just punched me, made me not to tell. And, Lillian's like, don't touch him. And Lionel just, smacks Lillian, just pushes her down real hard, makes her lip bleed, and she's mad at, at Alexander, upsetting, Lex is just upsetting Lex. And he tells Lynn, stay out of my business. He sees the abuse and Clark feels sorry for Lex of what he had to go through for his childhood. And the evil Lex person eventually catches up to him and basically grabs Clark's head and forces him to watch Clark and Lana making love. Lex and Lana making love. He's like, I always love you. He's like, did you hear that? You always love me. Just to torture him. Lex is about to have a Chloe uses her powers, and the little boy Lex is like, is everybody else? Clark saves Clark, and everybody's like, Clark, don't leave anywhere, you're my friend. He's like, I'm sorry, Alexander, I have to go. He gives Alexander a hug, tells him bye, and he has to get out. Just remember, he'll be trapped in Lex's mind forever, so he has to get out of there. And he's like, just stay safe, woman, just stay safe and run from him. So Clark tells him, he's like, goodbye. And Clark uses his powers and he's able to find Lois and Cora. We're in this, this junkyard and the guy's trying to kill them. Till Clark shows up, throws some course, and they don't want to. Lois doesn't see anything, or Cora, but Clark is able to knock the guy out and the cops show up. And she goes back home, but she still has a memory loss. But the Fracture was really good in my opinion. As you was, there's an episode where Clark is fighting that evil Lex and he's punching him in the face and the evil Lex is like, when he's bleeding. That was just a very interesting episode in my opinion. And then another favorite of mine is called Hero. This is where we have Sam Jones come back in a guest star. Yes, Sam Jones, of course, he played Pete Ross. Now, Pete Ross, of course, Sam Jones, his character was in Smallville Season 1, 2, and 3, and after Season 3, his character left the show. But he basically is like working with his band now. He chooses kryptonite, which it kind of gives him power like Mr. Fantastic. He can stretch out his arms and stuff. He's able to save Cora, who was they're at this band, at this concert, when, some of the microphones or one of the stage props is about to fall on her. Clark and Pete shows up at Clark's ranch at the camp barn. He doesn't still like Lionel, even though they're friends. Clark and Lionel are friends now, basically. He's like, yeah, Lionel Luther eating there. I'm like, says hey to Clark, they play basketball. He's able to beat Clark at basketball this time because he can't ever beat Clark at baseball. And he's like, Clark, Clark's like, that kryptonite might get you. You need to be careful. I was like, I'm sorry, Clark, but I'm tired of living in your shadow. I just want to have my own life. That's what he tells him. Sometimes I just want to be my own hero. And of course, he uses his powers to tease Lexi. To tease Lex. Lex says eventually say hey to Pete, and he asks Pete to get something for him from his father's office, and Pete goes to go grab that, goes along his vault and is about to steal it until Clark shows up. Before Clark can stop him, Lex uses green kryptonite, which Lionel has. Lionel's able to show up and save him with kryptonite. Pete decided not to steal anything from tries to use his powers to kill. Tries to kill Lex, but Lex ties him up and asks him, some questions before, Lex isn't a security guard can kill Pete. Clark shows up using his super speed and knocks out Lex. And at the end of the episode, Pete's saying about Clark said, your life was difficult, man. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have been complaining about living in your shadow. I've been a little jealous of you, but I'm sorry, man. And he tells Chloe goodbye as well. And overall, it was a good episode. It was, what I liked about this episode was seeing Pete Ross come back. Pete wants to, reveal his ability to the world, but says not to. We'll do this with Clark, who's on the barn. Decides not to trust Lex and Lonnie anymore, Clark and Lonnie anymore, because he's not telling her anything. So she decides to live at the mansion with Lex, just to stay there. Basically, Clark secretly has her bracelet, which she, of course, has this season. And overall, Hero was a really good episode, in my opinion. And then another favorite episode of mine is called Traveler. You find out that these men who come to the bar, they have these taser guns. Well, these tasers are actually kryptonite. It's not plucked out. They put them in the kryptonite cage. Like, what are you doing, Mama, here? And this guy named Pierce, who's like a mercenary for hire, basically pretty much tortures Clark. And you find out that Lionel hired him. Lionel has a reason for doing it, though. They basically like him in kryptonite line still. And you find out that Virtus One's daughter, Patrice One, comes looking for the last son of Krypton. She accuses Lionel of taking the last son for himself. Patrice One, Virtus One, of course, his character was in Season 2, was played by the late Christopher Reeve. She's basically trying to help Clark out. She doesn't know that he's the traveler of the last son of Krypton. And she does talk to Lex in the episode a bit. They talk about their past a little bit. They won't talk about the traveler. They put, when her and Lionel already, use Lex. She comes to try to get Clark out of there, let him out of that cage. He doesn't need to be in that cage. Instead, they knock her out, and basically Pierce knocks her out, and he decides that he's going to kill Clark. He comes close until Cora, who since Lana and Chloe find out, they don't know that Lana did it, but because they talk. Of course, Lana doesn't say anything, but they go grab her at Lex's mansion. They ever get her away real quick before Lex's mansion security team can show up at the mansion. They ever get her to the Force of Solitude, and Chloe is asking, "Please, Jarrell, I love your son. We need to help him. He's in danger." So he gives Kara her memory back. Kara, using her powers of a breakdown, she uses New Vision to destroy the kryptonite, and Pierce, has kryptonite guns about to kill both of them, but Lionel knocks the guy out and kills Pierce, and Clark just looks like Clark, mad by this, is upset that Lionel betrayed him like that. And then you find out that Lex has Patricia killed, basically for the Veritas symbol. She does talk about Clark about coming with her, but, you felt bad for the lady. She was, well, it's just a show. But Patricia one is murdered by Lex, so I'm not surprised. Because Lex wants to know about his father's secret, which they talk about Veritas, which was a group dedicated to the lesson of Krypton, to the Traveler, as they call Clark, the Traveler. Basically dedicated to finding him, and kind of just to worship him, basically to, I guess, protect him, basically, when he arrives to Earth. And you also find out that Lionel not only murdered his parents, but, of course, this involved, I think this is where you saw it went on this season, but I'll get to that later on. I'll get for the next episode. But anyway, Traveler, good episode in my opinion. Alright, and then the next episode, Veritas, another favorite of mine. Where Brainiac shows up at the farm, wants her to come with him, but she refuses. Clark is able to kind of push him down a bed on the farm. Brainiac gets all wet, and he's able to tell him, I'm going to get her soon, I'm going to come get you guys soon. This ain't over. And he warns that he's going to hurt one of their loved ones. When Lex is able to get this key, he starts to find out about Veritas. You see in the past, you see Lionel talking to Robert Queen, who was the father of Oliver Queen, aka Green Arrow, and the father of Edward Teague, who was the father of Jason Teague. If you remember the episode, season 4, and Jane Seymour played Jennifer Teague. Yes, that's Edward Teague. Basically, you find out them talking with Dr. Versus one coming in, what they're going to do about the Traveler. Basically, they want to control him. They're very much dedicated to Clark, as you can say. I think they kind of just want to, that's why I say they kind of want to worship him as a god, basically. And it's very interesting. You see moments in the past, and Lex is obsessed with finding the secret of Veritas. She wants to teach Clark how to fly, but is more trying to find out about Brainiac. Brainiac attacks Lana, basically is able to, use his system, puts her in a coma, and Clark devastated by it. Lana's placed in a clinic, mentally, because she's basically unstable. And Clark decides to go with Brainiac, and they fly toward in space. You just see them flying through space, and of course, Chloe's and Abby still have to find out where Brainiac and Kara are. But Lex starts to become obsessed with searching for the secrets of Veritas. And then you see young Lex, and I think he's able to look in a fireplace where he finds a part of a key or something in his fireplace. But overall, Veritas was an interesting episode in my opinion. And Descendant, which is, I think, one of the best episodes in my opinion. Where, in the beginning, when I was coming up to the Luth Corp office, his office, basically now Lex's office. Sorry. And he's asking his father, where's the knife? Yeah, not the knife. Where's that key? Vertigus. He's like, Dad, who's the traveler? Tell me who he is. And then he finds out that you were going to have this son for yourself. You were going to sacrifice me. And Lex, who's upset by this, Lex pulls out a gun and, shoots the window. He's like, Dad, tell me who it is. And since Lionel is trying to ask everybody for forgiveness and trying to say that he gives this key to Chloe's office, and Lex is like, where's the key at? And Lionel tells Clark, if you do this to me, if you open that box, Lex, there'll be no going back. There's no redemption for you. And Lex is like, tells his dad, grabs him when he's got him out the window, about to push him, well, before he does it, tells him, you know what? You'll just be a memory, Dad. I lived in your shadow long enough, and now you're going to die in mine. And he just pushes Lionel off. And you see like this smile on his face. In an interview with John Glover says that smile is basically like Lionel saying, yeah, you're finally being a Luthor, committing murder, basically. There you go, boy. That's the spirit, Because Lionel, when you look at him, he's just smiling. Like he's happy what Lex is doing. That's what he kind of, maybe he was, I don't know. But in another interview with, after Lex, of course, murders his dad, Michael Rosenbaum in an interview said that, once Lex crosses this line, that's when his evil path to becoming the man he becomes, this is when it starts. When he finally does this, cross that line, there's no going back. Lex looking at the dead body of Lionel. The cop wants to see it. He seems like upset. Lex eventually does discover the key at the data planet, where he finds out Chloe's lying to him, and he fires Chloe. Lex also has hallucinations of the younger self of the little boy Alexander, saying to him, he's like, you killed Dad? You killed Dad for a key? And, Lex also has this lady working for him. I don't know what her name was, but Jimmy and Lois, they've been working together in the seasons. Of course, Jimmy and Lois work together. But they're able to find out that Lex actually committed this murder. They just have to prove it. And this lady is able to actually destroy the evidence, and the Isis Foundation, she's able to destroy it. She sees Chloe uses the bullet, she's going to tell, but then this man, pretty much uses this serum on her. He does a shot on her neck, and it paralyzes her, and it kills her, basically. And Lex, who eventually has this key, is obsessed with finding the other one. But when Clark confronts Lex about it, they have a talk, while we were friends. Clark is like, this is Smallville. Weird stuff happens all the time. When we were really friends, you're Clark Kent. You're the perfect son. You see his jealousy and anger and how much he hates Clark, basically, as you can say. But it was a good scene between them. I'm not going to say anything, because I think Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum, they did the scene very well, and I can't really imitate it, but it was very one deal. But even though Lex murdered his father, Safe and he pretty much gets away with it, since no evidence against him. But his younger son says, talk to Clark, like, I'm the good side of you, Lex. I'm trying to help you. And Lex, grabs his younger son like this, and he drags him down to the fireplace. He's like, you make me weak. And he basically murders his younger self. This hallucination just puts it in the fire. Oh, her name was Gina. That was the lady's name. But overall, Descendant was a really good episode, and even though Lionel is gone now, even though when he died, he did die a good man. He died protecting Clark's secret. So at the end, he did become a good man. But, of course, Lionel would return, of course, from an Earth 2 version of him, which would happen in later seasons, but I'll get to that. But overall, John Glover, I think, did a really good job playing Lionel Luthor in this series. So, yeah. You go from seeing Lionel Luthor from being this bad, ruthless man to eventually going down to be a good man, Yeah. I think anybody can be redeemed, no matter who they are. But that's just me that thinks that. Anyway, another favorite of mine, two more. Apocalypse. Okay, Apocalypse. Clark, who basically wishes that, he would think the Earth could be better if he never existed. So Jor-El gives him this. This episode is directed by Tom Welling. Clark gives him this internal reality, which first, being in this internal reality, he goes to Kent Barn, and this kid says, "I'm Clark Kent." And Clark is obviously that he didn't go to the Earth, that he just doesn't exist. He does not exist. And at first he goes to find out about Lana. He wants to find out about where Lana's at. He goes to Chloe, see that she's happy that she has a fiance now, which is not Jimmy. But, says, "I'm happy for you, Chloe." He tries to tell her about Smallville. Then he finds out about Lana being married. He's like, good, her life, she's not in a coma by Brainiac, so he's just happy. But then you find out that Lex, of course, is the U.S. president, and he's working with Brainiac, and so is Kara. Lois is arrested. Him and Lois have a little flirtation going on here. Of course, we know they would get into a relationship later on in the seasons, but anyway, I like it though when it was cool to see Clark take out Lex's security team. Kara, of course, has the same abilities. Lex, of course, has the white suit on and the black glove. Basically, he's going to destroy half of Earth, kill millions of people, but the rich and the powerful will remain alive. They're like in bunkers. And, and Kara doesn't want him to do this. And Lex is like, look, you need to respect me. I've been here, ever since Dad found you then, I've always been I've been like your big brother, so you need to respect me. I forgot to mention, though, an episode where Lex told Kara, I will find out about your ability, even though you would thank her for it, but in this version, Lex, they try to talk to Clark, who has glasses on, which I like, though, because that would be the future Clark Kent, mild man Clark Kent with the suit and tie on and the glasses. I thought that was cool. Before Brainiac can do anything, though, Lex, shoots Clark and Kara with kryptonite bullets, killing them, and then Brainiac, before he can take care of before he can kill Clark, he does Jor-El's voice, and Jor-El is like, see, son, this is how the world will be like with you, Jor-El. This is why you need it, son. And when he goes back to Clark, he's like, Clark, that was weird. You were going for hours, for like a second. But for him, Clark was nice, but they embrace each other. And Clark eventually learns that, I need to be here, for me to protect the Earth. What bad could happen if he's not there to protect the world. And he's able to stop them. He can't stop them from detonating these missiles. Of course, Lex thinks that he's basically saved the world because this insane he is. And Clark gets into Krypton and said, Brainiac, who goes to the 1989 version of Krypton before Krypton was destroyed, to kill Baby Kal-El. But Clark and Kara show up and they fight him off. They're able to. Clark is able to grab his baby self, his baby Kal-El, puts him in the ship, sending him to Earth. Kara kills Brainiac by putting a Krypton rock on him, and because at first she hesitates to it, but Brainiac's like this. You see this black blood coming out of his teeth, and he's laughing, but she eventually kills him, and they go back because that's where they were going the whole time, because they stopped Clark from existing. That's what Brainiac was trying to do, prevent Clark from existing, in the world, But they beat him eventually. Overall, Apollo was a good episode in my opinion. Clark realizes about Clark just funny how important he is to the world, is why he's needed. Alright. And then my last favorite episode of the series, which is Arctic, which is the final episode of this season. It takes place as the quest episode where Lex, of course, has been searching for the key. Clark is in the beginning talks to Edward Teague, who was the father of Jason Teague, remember, character from season 4 of Smallville. Basically, she murders Edward Teague. Everyone was playing, and Clark, believing that she's not a murderer, tries to confront Clark about it, but she's able to knock Clark out before she flies away. And they basically see this orb it's like this orb or whatever. It's this little circle orb that can control Clark. Lex has it, and Brainiac. You find out it's Brainiac, of course, comatose. Who was as Kara. Basically tells Lex, your destiny is to defeat the Traveler. I saved you, Lex. She shows him the video like, Lex is like, you were the one that saved me from drowning that day. I saved you, Lex, because your destiny is to defeat the Traveler, save mankind. To convince Lex in his mind that, of course, Clark is up there. And since the orb has a map on it, Lex goes to the Fortress of Solitude. And pretty much, after Clark finds out what Brainiac did and is being angry, Clark, Brainiac, who was trying to power himself up, him and Clark have a fight, and Clark is like, you won't, Brainiac's like, you can't, you don't have it in you to kill a man. It's like, you're not a man, you're a machine. He does eventually kill Brainiac, which releases Lana from her comatose state. Clark wants to see her, but instead Lana leaves him a DVD. She basically, kind of like a Dear John video, whatever you want to call it. Says, Clark, I'm holding you back. I love you, but I'm holding you back. I gotta go. You find out in Season 8 more stuff, but we'll get to that later when we get to Season 8. And Clark is heartbroken, crying over it. Lois comes in and comforts him. In the episode Siren, though, when Lois was upset over Grant breaking up with her, just upset about Oliver and stuff. I think she found out he was the Green Arrow. Gosh, I would love to see that moment, but I couldn't. But overall, she's there to comfort him as a friend. And also where Lois, I forgot to mention, offers Clark a job at the Daily Planet. Clark refuses at first, and Clark was like, Lois, you need to be careful. And he was like, careful there, Smallville. Seems like you're actually worried about me. And they have this look at each other. Maybe before Clark walks in the door to tell him something, you spark the attraction between them. Yeah, I think if you're fans of this show, I've always known, being a fan of this show, Lois and Clark had somewhat this attraction to each other. It's been there, it's just kind of not out there yet. But you find out that Kara is trapped in the Phantom Zone, which I think you see more of that in Season 8 as well. But she's trapped in the Phantom Zone, just like kind of like Clark was. You see the Phantom Zone, the size shape of it, the Ortec of it, Octane of it, flying around in space, and Kara just being trapped in the Phantom Zone. Jimmy Olsen, who Lex tries to tells him to get information about Lois, who he thinks Lois might be doing some spying on him, get him in trouble. He tells her to watch him, to keep an eye on her, and he's like, I'm sorry, Lex, I can't do this. I won't spy on her, I won't do it. And Lex is like, good man, Jimmy, you're a good man. You're an honest man, I appreciate your honesty, but he has her arrested by the DDS, Domestic Security, and meanwhile, though, before Chloe gets arrested, though, Jimmy proposes to her before she can say anything. The DDS show up and arrest her, because she's basically a meteor freak, so they decided to arrest her. She was, of course, doing some government secrets, and basically that gets her arrested. And at the end of the episode, Lex is in the fortress, and Clark, like I said, the purple orb that you see in Lex's hand, where Lex was like, Clark, this is a big step up from the farm. And he's like, so this whole time, Clark, you had all these powers, and you never told me about it. You didn't trust me. You never trusted me. I was never a friend, for where was I? He's like, Clark, you could have told me about this. You could have told me. We could have been better friends. I would have helped you control the power. We could have been accomplished together. And like, Clark, realizing what he does, can't trust Lex at all, says, Lex, you only do this for yourself. And I was like, you're a threat to humanity, Clark. You're going to destroy us. Like, no, Lex, I'm not here to do that. And Lex eventually is like, I'm sorry, Clark, but I have to do this. He's like, Lex, don't do this. Choice now can depend on, what you're going to do. He's like, you never threatened her, and then he's going to go to fortress, the Kryptonian, the crystals which runs the entire factory. He's like, there's a purple orb, and uses to control Hulk. Because Clark can try to get away from it with the orb. Lex is able to say, don't come near me, can't come near me. And when he puts it there, it's like, you're never going to threaten the world again, Kal-El. And then he dumps it in there. And it brings the fortress down around him and Clark. And before the fortress is brought down and crushed and smashed down on them, which basically kills Lex. But I'll get more into season 8. I'll talk more about that stuff. And Lex is like, comes up to Clark, even though Clark's like, when the orb attacks him, just knock him down, weaken him. He's like, grabs Clark and is like, I loved you like a brother, Clark, but I'm sorry, it hasn't ended this way. And it ends with them, the fortress coming down on them. But overall, a really good, epic season final, in my opinion. Alright, what time is it? 5:42? Okay, I'm getting time still. Alright, guys. I just got 4 more episodes to talk about. These are my okay episodes of Smallville, season 7. I don't hate these episodes, they were just okay in my opinion. And then my first favorite, though, is an episode called Fierce. This is where Cora and Clark, they're, at the beginning, they're like in a corn festival or whatever for Smallville, and she sees Jimmy, and you see her, he eyes up because she likes him right away. She wants to become the sweet corn patch just to fit in, even Clark's like, no, you can't do that. And this is where Lana shows up at their farm and tells Clark because she's been alive. And even though, she walks into the room with her bikini on, and Lana's like, Clark's like, you put some clothes on now. He shows her use her power. He uses heat vision to put a smiley face on a pumpkin, not on a pumpkin, but on a watermelon. And she just shows a watermelon, like, you're not ready. He's too hard on Cora. Cora's just upset about this. And Jimmy, who was taking pictures of these girls, she kind of looking away at Jimmy, and Jimmy just waves at her. And he finds out that these two girls who, they have like ice powers, kind of. One has a power like a twister, and the other has ice powers. They try to kill Jimmy, but Cora saves them. And they go to Cora and says, you have a little secret, don't you, Cora? And she backstabs them. She takes a save to take it from them before they can try to destroy half the town or whatever, do another heist. Clark tries to stop them, but one of them uses her twister powers or whatever, tornado powers, and gets kryptonite, and Cora shows up and saves Clark. I just thought Cora, of course, looks great, and she beat Bash, and she wins, by the way. Well, I just thought the episode was okay, in my opinion. I can understand Cora's just trying to fit in and act human, Basically, the Weather Girls. When, at the end, Lex confronts Cora, she's working for the Talon, and Lex is like, I knew that was you. He's like, no, Mr. Luthor, I'm sorry, that wasn't me. She denies it completely, and he's like, either way, I'll find out the truth. As Lex tells her, as I always do, I'll find out the truth. I've been lied to by a lot of friends and betrayed by my friends, but I'll find it out either way. Well, just an okay episode in my opinion. Alright, then another okay episode was Action in my opinion, which is you have a film crew making a war movie on the set of Kentborn, and the main actress, Rachel Davenport, played by Christina Milian, thought that was okay. Someone's trying to murder her, you find out they're trying to follow the movie, and they try to use like a real gun, not a prop, but a real gun, to shoot her down, but instead it doesn't work. You find, Lex still has the ability to accomplish even though he doesn't leave no more, because remember, he's the villain now, but he decides to, this guy sees Clark uses his powers, and says that you're the real hero, Clark, and says that, I don't know if Clark to fail the destiny, he tries to kill Lana, tries to go Lana off a building, off of, Oliver's apartment, which is on, like, a heavy top metropolis. Nearly kills her off the patio, tries to throw her off of it. Clark is able to fly and save her. basically say that this actress tries to flirt with Clark, or she tries to flirt with Clark and almost kisses him right in front of Lana, and she gives Clark what you see. She gives him like a red cape, kind of like a red cape. Remember, because he eventually becomes Superman. That was really cool in the episode. Overall, action was just, it was not an episode in my opinion. And the guy that did this, though, that's in the Belle Reve, Lex just talked to him about what he saw Clark do, and of course he refuses to tell him. I guess kind of in his mind knowing that Lex is the villain, so he doesn't need to know. Overall, action was okay in my opinion. And then another episode called Sleeper. Another okay episode of Sleeper. It's kind of like a James Bond type episode. Like I said, in order to look at, Clark pretty much asked Chloe to go to government information, government satellites to investigate, and the government thinks that she's doing something illegal, so they get Jimmy to find out some secrets from her. She's able to trick Jimmy. They kind of make Jimmy a spy, kind of. They give him the spy equipment, and then Sleeper, he basically tries to find, him and Chloe have this dance. It's kind of like a James Bond kind of episode. Him and Chloe do this dance. I really thought it was pretty entertaining dance. Kind of reminded me of True Lies with Arnold and Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jamie Lee Curtis, where they dance at the end of the movie, kind of do the tango. But overall, it was an alright episode in my opinion. But this lady who is torturing Chloe, trying to find out what she's up to, and Chloe will never tell the truth until Jimmy saves her, and Jimmy and Chloe are working on their relationship a little bit more. Lex is able to get Chloe out of this government. He's able to get out of it, but tells Jimmy, when I need you, I'll call you over here. Like, I treat my new employees like family, and I expect them to do things for me in return. As being a Luther, as if they do something for you, they expect you to do something for them in return. If you don't do it, they'll screw you over, basically. Clark immediately wants to save Lana, but finds out that Cora is in danger, finds out that she's in the future or whatever, or in the past, where Brainiac is trying to kill the baby kill. But well, Sleeper was okay in my opinion. Alright, then another episode called Quest. Yes. Another okay episode called Quest. This bank teller from Search attacks Lex. Lex is able to get the second key. It's kind of like a code he has to go through to find to open it. He hires this man who can just track codes and stuff, is able to help Lex out. Lex is a bit sick of the episode. This guy tries to kill him, but Lex is able to kill him instead. They go to the sanctuary, basically wherever T is. Basically, to talk with the Traveler. Clark eventually investigates this. Edward T tries to kill Clark, uses kryptonite, tries to use him as a human sacrifice. And, when he sees, who knew Alexander, he'll be the person he'll become. Him and Lex fight a bit. And before he can kill Lex, Clark shows up and takes Edward T out, basically. And Lex sees Clark playing, but he doesn't know it's Clark. Because this big clock smashes in, which Lex looks into this clock. He attempts to kill Clark because Clark won't kill Lex, and they're trying to serve Clark. Clark's like, I don't want to be God, I don't want to be served. I'm just trying to do the right thing, I'm trying to help people out. Because I know you should be served. Humanity should be serving you, but Clark is not that way. But overall, it was just an okay episode in my opinion. I like the quest that Lex is going on. That was interesting. But overall, I just don't like a lot of these other episodes better than these. But overall, Quest was an okay episode in my opinion. Okay, that was my favorite and okay episodes of Smallville, Season 7. So anyway, guys, to sum it up real quick, I'm sorry if I'm in a rush. Alright. Sorry, we've been a long way in, but anyway, Smallville Season 7, good season. I like them bringing Clara in, that was interesting. I like seeing Lex go into his darker ways, him becoming more evil in this season. The quest he goes on to find Clark's secret and the ending with the Force of Solitude. Really epic ending in my opinion. I know so this is my least favorite season, only because some of those episodes I think were meh. And the whole thing with Veritas, I didn't think was interesting in my opinion. I thought that was a bit weak. They wanted to show I didn't care about Veritas too much. I was like, I just didn't care about that too much. I think that was the weaker part of the season. Plus, that's my least favorite because I think there could have been more out of this season, more episodes, and this episode was like, season is more, it's just 5 discs and short. It's just a very short season. I think you definitely need the 22 episodes there, but I understand it was a time with the devotion. It was just that time. But overall, it might be my least favorite season, but I still like it. I put it still up there with season 3 and 4 and 7. Even though I like those seasons, I just prefer season 1, 2, 5, and 6 to be better than this, in my opinion, and season 3 and 4 as well, in my opinion. But Smallville season 7, still a good season though. The acting is so good. John Glover, this is his last season. After this season though, Michael Rosenbaum, Kristen Croak, and John Glover, they leave the show after this, which I definitely miss their presence in the next season, but hey, they just wanted to leave, which is understandable. I don't mind them letting Lex go for a while, because, we won't see Lex again until the season final, so, which is fine with me, which sets up the character of Superman perfectly, in my opinion. But overall, Smallville Season 7, my ranking for this, I'm going to give it, since some episodes, like those episodes, were not very interesting, Ever 2 being live, and the Furious episode, and the Sleeper episode, I didn't think was very interesting. I want to say it was a decent season. I liked it for what it is. There were some great epic episodes. I just kind of wanted more episodes, and it was just too short for me. But overall, it's still an enjoyable season. I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 stars, just to be fair enough, saying just decent season. But overall, guys, let me know in the comments down below, what are your thoughts, and what are your favorite episodes of Smallville Season 7? What did you think of the season? And give me a list down below, guys, in the comments down below, what are your favorite episodes of Smallville Season 7? Alright, guys. Next, speaking of Smallville, I will be giving my... Yeah, guys, we're not so far being done with Smallville. We only got 3 more seasons to go. Next, I will be giving my favorite episodes of Smallville, my thoughts on favorite episodes of Smallville Season 8. So, the 8th season of Smallville will be next. So, I hope you guys look forward to it. So, again, let me know, guys, in the comments down below, what are your thoughts, what is your favorite episode of Smallville Season 7 down in the comments down below. And guys, I hope you look forward to me talking about Smallville Season 8, which is coming up next. So thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you then. Hope you like my elf shirt, and yeah, guys, have a good night, wherever you're at. Good day, good night, whatever. I know I'm going to go to bed here soon, but anyway, good night, guys, have a good one, and thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.